I've really been happy with the blue-black base control list. Both this one that's splashing black for, or splashing red for Nicol Bolas, and the Surveil Disinformation campaign based one that's a little bit more mid-rangey. Seems fine. If they're not playing a creature-based deck, this hand could be a little bit bad, but hopefully they've got creatures in their deck. Seeing's decent against mono red. I would like to undo your Pyromancer. Don't get greedy with your Ritual of Soot in this matchup. The important thing to remember about mono red in this matchup, in this format, is that they have a ton of reach in their deck. So don't get greedy. Trade with their things. Keep your health total high. If you wanna comment and issue up votes and down votes on the Reddit thread where people are being turds to me, feel free to click there. What would you recommend? There's no reason to splash red if you're not playing Bolas. Bolas is the reason to put red cards in your deck. So I could play Bolas as a potential roadblock here, but the downside to that is because they have the Fanatical Firebrand in play, that means if they have a Lightning Strike or a Wizard Lightning, they get to trade that plus that for my Nicol Bolas. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the 2-for-1 on my Ritual of Soot here. Go ahead and clean that right on out. This is actually a really good curve here. So I'm gonna get to do this, and then next turn we'll get to Thought Erasure plus Bolas. Is it nuts to give them 3 cards here, so that way I can have cards to take away from them next turn? Because they're gonna go up to 7 cards, right? And I get to take 2 of them. Is it crazy to just keep my health total high? I think because I have 2 discard spells in hand, I'm gonna give them 3 cards here. This might be overly risky, but I think it's worthwhile. So the problem is that they're gonna jumpstart at the end of my turn, which means they potentially won't do it until their next turn. And, like, I'm fine with this just taking 2 hits. Yeah, like, this worked out really well from us, right? I mean, they're gonna have a card every turn anyways, chat. Like, they're always going to be able to recast it. Perfect. With the 7th land untapped here, too. So we get to do this, take a card. Bolas, take a card. That one.
The dead shall serve me.
Do they draw a Lightning Strike to kill this? Even if they drew a strike to kill this, like, I've got Doom Whisperer running them down. And if they don't draw a strike to kill the Nicol Bolas, they are going to be up a creek without a paddle. Okay. Yeah, I'm saying draw, I mean on the top of their deck. That's what I mean. I want to be greedy and take a hit here. I'm not going to take a second hit. think I just want another threat here. Maybe I'm supposed to keep the cast down for the runaway Steamkin. Honestly, maybe I was supposed to plus the Bolas. I don't know. Like they'd already played 3 Wizard Lightnings, a Lightning Strike. Like they'd played a lot of stuff. Getting punished for a lot of my decisions this game. Yep. I guess if I took the Frenzy with the discard, they would have had to discard a Lightning. I don't know, I wanted to keep them from killing my Nicol Bolas. Which maybe I overvalued. I overvalued Nick, apparently. Draw 3 cards, because you have Experimental Frenzy out. Yeah, we could die here. Yeah, I think I undervalued the Experimental Frenzy. And I undervalued the Experimental Frenzy. I should have taken that with the Thought Erasure. Dire Fleet, Moment of Craving, a Fungal Infection. I think Negate's fine in this matchup. Notion Rain's pretty bad. At least one Eldest. I think the Eldest Reborns are actually kind of okay. They bring back my threats. I need ways to kill them. Look at our curve, Green Apple. Also look at the selection of spells that I'm playing. And if you look at the selection of spells that I'm playing, you'll see that I'm really not a super counterspell based deck. So like the value in being able to pass with Chemistry Insight up is much less in this deck. I have no idea, Hodor. Morning, Tannen. Just hanging out, playing some Standard. I mean, keep. Whisper me if it can add you my friend code. Chris and I haven't been playing as much because it's been getting colder, but we are still playing some. I log in at least every other day. Catch something. No, he's talking about Pokemon Go. Oh, do they not have a spell? That's good. Okay, so getting punished for the sequencing on my lands. I guess I should have played the Steam Vents first. And this is actually a really good example of one of the reasons why it's so hard to get better at playing Magic. Like, being able to recognize that, like, I messed up on turn 1 and it could cost me this game is tough. Like that 2 points of health is super relevant in a matchup like this. Man, I am just getting punished for every decision I make this game. It's kind of unreal. I should play better, make less mistakes, Chad. You can't control what your opponent draws, but you can control how you sequence your stuff into them. They've played very poorly this game. And like, yeah, I'm just gonna concede. If I would have played my Steam Vents on 1, I would have played my Bolas on 4 just to like block the Steamkin, and then I would have been in a spot where I would have been able to hold the Contempt for that. I didn't want to shock on 4 because I made a mistake on 1, I then doubled down and made another mistake on 4, which was bad. I let my mistakes compound. Please keep in mind, especially if you're new to the channel, that if you want to dictate plays that I make, don't ask me to justify everything I do to you. I kind of do that while I'm talking. If a play doesn't make sense to you, tell me why it doesn't make sense. Tell me what's the better line. Explain your thought process to me, and then we can engage from there. They're playing Mono Red again. We're going to die, but I think this hand's a keep in the dark. I guess this hand's a little awkward because if I Notion Rain on 3, I actually have to discard the hand size. JK, LOL. Because he crushes nerds who are expecting to play fair and interesting games of Magic under his foot, Tannen. They're missing a land drop. That's good for us. So do I want... I think I just want to pressure them. I'm just going to curve Bolas into Doom Whisperer here and try and kill them while they're stumbling. I'm going to play around Moment of Craving. Yeah, some of these decks are playing Infection in the main too. I was looking at lists. Next turn, if they attack in again here, I'm gonna block this time, because if they want to spend Craving and Infection, I think that's okay for me. This could also reasonably just be a bluff, because like they have Surveil cards to get these back. Fair. Confirmed, not a bluff. I mean, it was like kind of a 3-for-1. It was really much closer to a 2-for-1 because the Blood Operative's gonna come back for them. At work, enjoying some live Hoagland. YouTube playbacks are better than 2x. Thank you, Confection, for the 7-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Ooh, that's rough. Huh. Am I contempting this so I could edict, so I could Eldest Reborn this? I think I am. I've not played that deck yet, Nivik. It depends on the board position, like whether or not you just run out of Naked Reborn to just like make them discard and then reanimate eventually is like depends on like a lot of factors. It's definitely not just like a you always do or never do. Yep. So there's a Doom Whisperer in my bin, but if they surveil, they can... Yeah, they're going to be able to get their Blood Operative back here. Although I guess I can scatter that on the way back down, which is decent for us. That's a good hit. I can also Syncopate it potentially, which is nice. Now I probably want to scatter so I can hold the Syncopate for Disinformation campaign. Since I drew the cast down, I'm going to cast this one down. Nivik, this standard format is really, really good. It's quite possibly the best format of Magic I've played in a long... It's definitely the best format I've played in a long time. It might be one of the best formats I've ever played. We'll see how things shake out, but it's definitely gearing up to have potential for that. Yeah, they discarded a Dream Eater. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this down now before... Oh, I guess I should wait. I should wait till the Blood Operative's back in their hand to do this. Yeah, it's been a very, very good standard format. This standard format feels like it has a lot of the sweet things Modern has without having any of the Trons and the Storm decks and the other things that are really obnoxious that occur in Modern. Oh, I guess with the land draw here, I can't Syncopate Disinformation campaign, which kind of sucks. I'm gonna bin this scatter here because I want this Syncopate to ideally counter this later. Because I can just Contempt Blood Operative because I don't really care if they take my Doom Whisperer because Eldest Reborn can take their Doom Whisperer, so... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes out of the PT. I don't know, like, so... The last couple of PTs, there really hasn't been any crazy innovation at the Pro Tours. A lot of the innovation that's happened in standard formats recently has happened online and before the Pro Tour happened. So, like, if this format follows suit, the PT is the Magic Pro Tour. Oh, I took their Doom Whisperer, which means they can Dream Eater it back to their hand. That was loose on my part. Should have taken mine for that reason. Was not thinking about that. Looking for a counterspell here, I think, actually. I kind of didn't want to go to 6, but I am into casting this Notion Rain, so... Alright, yeah, the top of our deck was about to be real bad. We have, Nivik. Arena has brought an absurd number of people into the game. It's been very, very good for it. Playing Magic recently, especially when I'm streaming Arena and Standard, has felt more like when I was streaming Hex or Warhammer, in that there's people just constantly asking questions. It's a good thing. New people getting into the game is a very good thing for Magic. Yeah, Hex was very slow. Hex was slow like Magic Online is slow. Its timer system was not friendly. Yeah, the sponsored streams were very successful for Arena. There were a bunch of Hearthstone people that got sponsored to stream and then like stuck with the game after their sponsorship was done. Because they just liked Magic as a game. Which, let's be honest, Magic's a great game, right? What's not to like? Alright, so I should probably leave the cast downs in here actually, because they're likely boarding in Thief of Sanities as well. In all honesty, the sponsored stream money that's been spent recently is better advertising dollars than the Pro Tour. I think I'm gonna cut a land on the draw. I'm at 27 lands. Cutting a land on the draw is probably not unreasonable. I'm not gonna go down 2, but cutting 1 seems fine. This deck plays 10 red sources. And like both Nox and Savit, they've been knocking the Twitch numbers out of the park for Magic. They both consistently get 2, 3, 4,000 people watching them play Magic, which is awesome. That's why you have the wonderful crown, Nivik. It sets your status. Your donations will never be forgotten. Yeah, Sav's a very, very good TCG player. Definitely a card game player, it shows. Yeah, it's definitely, my standard numbers have been higher than when I'm streaming Modern. It's not close. Glad we drew this cast down. It's a real shame we didn't have untapped lands there so we could scatter this, but the cast down will do in a pinch. You like how I boarded out a land and then we miss a land drop? Tilt. Yeah, that's gonna be the game. I guess I can do this. I'll take like 1 shot at a block and then 1 shot at a black source. And then if this connects and I can't kill it next turn, I'm just gonna pack it in. Yep. Unchecked Thief just like runs away with games in these matches. Especially if I'm missing land drop. If I had lands, it wouldn't be a big deal, but without lands, it's just like DOA. I'll take a little information on the way out the door. I'm conceding after I do this, but here. A lot of standard streamers just play. You do a good job of talking about your choices, mistakes, and plays. Yeah, just try to like be specific about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Nivik, thank you for the sub gift. I appreciate that. Why did I concede? I don't think that game was winnable. In fact, one of the reasons why you often hear new and inexperienced players talk about like playing against control is miserable, blah, blah, blah. And I think one of the big reasons why they find control so miserable, because they don't concede early enough. The thing about playing against control decks is that when the game is over, it's not obvious, especially when you're new. And it's just really, if you can recognize when you're like single-digit percentages to win the game and move on, you'll be happier for it. Even when you're playing tournament paper Magic and like you have things on the line, it can often be right to play. It can often be right to concede even when you're playing with something on the line, because conceding for clock considerations is very real in paper Magic. Be interesting to see what they take here. Depends on like how their hand lines up. They could definitely, there's arguments for taking any of these cards depending on what their hand looks like. I like taking the Notion Rain there. We mulliganed, and Notion Rain's our way to kind of catch back up. The taking Notion Rain there kind of implies to me that they're not on the Thief plan this game. Yeah, that's definitely true as well. You have, there's a real cost associated with stuff like that. The pace of gameplay in this application is just absurd in the most pleasant way possible. It is the fastest way you will ever get to play Magic the Gathering. No, that's something I have to set up on my end, JMP, and it only supports Windows at the moment, so I don't have it set up. Even when my opponents take a moment to make decisions on Arena, their play is infinitely faster than if they were playing on Magic Online, or especially playing in paper. Like, paper's already faster than playing on Magic Online's already faster than playing in paper, and like this takes that to a whole new level. Honestly, would you take donation for mana Grixis? No, I would not, JMP. I've played iterations of decks like that lots of times in the past. They just suck every time we play them. I just really don't like them. They're just bad green black rock in my experience. With the advent of Tireless Tracker, you're not gaining anything by splashing. Is basically what it comes down to. Thief was a great draw here because it puts a second threat into play for us. So that means that they like have Eldest Reborn. We get some extra threat density here. We don't have a release date for Arena as of yet. Application works fine. If you like it, play it. If you don't, don't. Yeah, shuffling is very boring. Every time, just Google it. Just Google it. I'm not gonna explain it. There's No, they are not planning to reset the application, they've said. So, any cards you earn free to play and any gems you buy, the cards you're crafting now are the ones you're keeping. I definitely agree that shuffling can be cathartic, but it's definitely shuffling. In fact, as somebody who has what is literally a shuffling deck here on his desk because he enjoys shuffling cards, shuffling inside of a match of Magic where you're running against a clock feels tedious and boring. I would be very surprised if Arena ever officially came to phones. I would not be surprised if Arena came to tablets. Thank you for the tip, JMP. Let me pull it up. Well, here's money for sorry. I feel bad. I feel like I kicked your puppy because I stopped doing Legacy, and it's tough. It's not in a format that's phone ready. One, everybody who says that it's written in Unity, it's one click exports to everything, you are idiots and have never worked with Unity or software development before. Sorry, you're just wrong. It isn't. Unity makes porting to other platforms much, much easier than it otherwise would be. But it's not just you click a button and it pops out. There is, especially when, like, this is an application that runs in DirectX, so, like, making sure it works on OpenGL devices, and then you got to support the audio subsystems, and you have to create installers and all sorts of other stuff like that. Like, there is a lot that goes into porting an application to another platform. It's not just the Unity base. The people that are saying it's just like click and it pops out, those people are wrong. They don't understand what they're talking about. I want to take their Arclight Phoenix, right? That Thought Erasure can stay right there because it's going to take their other Crackling Drake. Life is cynical. Sometime you might get back to Legacy at some point. When you do, it'll be more into it. Yeah, I appreciate that you understand that, JMP. Definitely. My content is better when I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So Arena definitely has a lot of choices that have made it designed with touch screens in mind. But when people say mobile, I have a hard time managing boards of Magic on my 27-inch monitor sometimes. The people that want to play on their 4-inch cell phone screen, like, that's... Playing the people's cannon and just getting dumpstered, Frank, just feels bad after a while. Because that's what it ends up being. You just get dumpstered. Bye-bye, birdie. Just looking for a threat at this point. They're the same if you step back a few feet. I guess with the double lava coil, our first threat's not even gonna be that good, right? For a non-zero amount of board states, you're gonna be able to play Magic on your phone just fine. For a lot of board states, for the board states that make Magic really interesting, you're not. Get 10 lands and play with the control deck and try and manually tap, because sometimes you do need to manually tap. It's gonna be tedious and awkward. So honestly, we have so few red cards in our deck, you could argue by putting the red land into play, I can make my opponent overthink cards I could possibly have access to. No, that's a third-party app called MTG Arena Pro. I'm not gonna block, because if they want to kill this, I want them to spend both lava coils. This bad boy's getting 2 for 1, okay? Hold on, folks, I'm gonna do it again. Alright, I have enough lands that will keep the Notion Raid. Just gonna jam this now. Things like console are even a much bigger challenge than touch to port things like this, because on console you have to like remap things so like the interface is clean and fluid with the controller as opposed to being played with a keyboard or a touch screen. That is unfortunate for us. Finally, glad to not play on spreadsheets. Cam Bam, thank you for the 6 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. There's a big boy. Who's a good Doom Whisperer? Yes, you are. You're a good little Doom Whisperer. The matchmaking's a little bit awkward at the moment. The whole ranking system on Arena is currently messed up. As far as I'm aware, it's basically impossible to get past Silver. Mr. Tickles. Alright, coffees for closers and Doom Whisperer's getting himself a cup of joe. If they play another cantrip here, nope, that's fine. I also love that Ritual of Soot in this deck doesn't kill our threats. It's just like, here's my Plague Wind. Enjoy. All right, I think Vraska's Contempt probably locks this game up. It gives us an out to Phoenixes coming back and doing silly things. I've never gotten past Silver 2. I would like to syncopate this one. So far, the last time we played this deck, it felt pretty reasonable. All right, we're gonna do a quick chill break while we reboot Magic Arena. How we doing, folks? Welcome. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here playing Constructed Magic 30+ hours a week. If you enjoy my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their support. Past subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out my very wonderful sponsors. CoolStuffInc.com, buy and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, Warhammer, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. BCW Supplies provides wonderful stuff to keep your very valuable Magic the Gathering cards and other gaming accessories protected. They do sleeves and deck box and all sorts of other great stuff, and you can save 10% on your orders at bcwsupplies.com by using code Jeff10. And of course, Lisa would like to get you on your way to a better night's sleep. Christy and I have been sleeping with Lisa for the last 4 months now and really love it. I don't think we'd ever go back to a traditional pillow top mattress. You can save $160 or more on your new mattress with them by checking out links bit.ly/HugelBedUS and bit.ly/HugelBedCA. All right, Magic Arena is loaded back up. So that's why do we restart Arena? Arena crashed. Occasionally, Arena crashes when when the match finishes, when a game finishes. The person explodes and Arena explodes. It's, you know, just good, clean living. No, Harry's is still on there. I have 2 show pages. We have lots of. I plugged the banners, man. I got all these banners going on. Eldest Reborn is probably clunky. I want the Negates, I want the Duresses, I think. Because Duress is good in this matchup. Not only do they likely have counterspells out of their sideboard, but the opponent's deck is like a critical mass deck. So being able to pick apart even bad instances of sorceries out of their hand is valuable because it makes their Phoenixes harder to come back. It doesn't happen on every version of Windows MetaWood, but I've had other people say that it happens to them as well. Wine's quality software pretty much runs Unity applications flawlessly. For what it's worth. Do I create the banners myself or does the sponsor supply them to me? I don't personally make any of the banners. When I work with sponsors, oftentimes they give me the banners, or if they don't have a graphics person, they pay me a little bit extra and I have my graphics person do it. So I have a person that does like the Hoaglandia banner, and like a lot of my emotes and stuff like that are all handled by my graphics guy. You hungry, chat? I'm kind of hungry. Okay, so my sequencing here is actually loose. I just kind of wanted to auto pass. I should technically let them resolve the discovery before they know their Goblin Electromancer is going to die. And the reason for that is they could make a different decision if they think their Electromancer is potentially sticking around. So my sequencing there is suboptimal. No limited on this channel. If you're into constructed magic, this is the place for you. Let's just go ahead and do this, and then I can go ahead and go land Bolas next turn. Seamus Soup Nichols, thank you very much for the break on fucking Twitch usernames. Alright, thanks for the support, Soup Nichols. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. I appreciate you supporting mine this month with that. Welcome. Welcome to everybody. Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday wherever you're at. Every Tuesday here on this channel, you'll always be able. Well, that was a little bit of a miscount into a shame concede. All right. Yep. Should you syncopate there over the negate because the negate is a narrower counterspell? So the negate is a narrower counterspell, but it's far more resource efficient. And generally speaking, I think a lot of the times when we lose matches like that, it's because we're not resource efficient enough. That being said, you could probably also argue that I had so many lands in my hand that resource efficiency shouldn't have been my priority. Do you prefer an extra sub? I always prefer subscriptions if someone's looking to support my content. So if you are thinking between donating or subscribing, I always prefer a sub. We're actually getting pretty close to, we're close-ish to another emote. We're about 60 points off from getting another emote on the channel. Because you make grading organic chemistry that much better. Thank you, Brecken. This hand is very, very good. What's the reasoning for Syncopate over Sabotage in this list? It's not only because of the exile, it's resource efficiency is a consideration, and the number of blue sources is a consideration. I think there is a bug on Beacon Bolt where it doesn't always show the correct number, but you can always manually check too. Double Benalia, but I have double Thought Erasure, so let's just get rid of those. And so I really want a 4th land, but Moment of Craving is really good against red-white aggro. And like, I have this Thought Erasure to try and dig for a 4th land. Benalia is very, very good. I think too strong is nonsense, but Benalia is definitely a very good Magic card. Nope, that one can stay right there. What do I think about Sultai control? I don't know. Like, I don't know that I really see the appeal to, like, what basically the question you want to ask yourself for that is like, what are you solving by playing Sultai as opposed to green black or blue black? Sultai is blue black green, and like both blue black and green black are very good and have a lot of great tools, so I'm not like sure what you're gaining in value by playing both together. So I want to Contempt inside of combat here, and the reason for this is Tajik is a legendary creature, which means if I killed this on my turn and my opponent had another Tajik, they'd be able to play the Tajik and attack me with it. Adanto. Black. Red-based removal decks have a lot of trouble with Adanto. Black-based removal decks, however, just get to be like, bye, friend. If and when Wizard starts, post bottom, what city do you think will start? I have no idea. There's a bunch of good places they can start. It's either going to start with this current standard format Ixalan, and then Shadows is another possibility, and going all the way back to Origins is another possibility. I would honestly be kind of surprised if they went all the way back to Origins, if only because of the amount of resources it would take to add that many sets to Magic Arena. Man, our answers are lining up really well into their stuff. Cletus, thank you for the 20-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. There was not an announcement. Morrow is on the record saying a new format is a when, not an if. So basically, we're speculating that. We're due for one, essentially. I didn't Moment of Craving the Tajik because I wanted to be resource efficient that turn, using all 4 mana. So the question here is, because I have this other Bolas in my hand, I kind of want to just trade this for 4 points of health plus a shock, I think. And it's very possible I should have traded this way the last turn, even. It's possible that I should have blocked last turn. I mean, there's a very real possibility that they think creating starting from there will make it a better format, and that makes it a worthwhile reason to start from there. So I really hope that when they do announce their new non-rotating format, they have the play design team test it a little bit and actually put some thought into it, rather than just like, well, this is where Arena has cards coded, we'll start here. Well, this is where the frame on the cards changed, we'll start here. Magic Avocado, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub there. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed. Wow, that's brutal. Straight up bluff there. Good bluff from the opponent. Just go ahead and do this. I'm 1 land away from Nikki B flipping over here. I have no idea, Detroit. Just like stuff like that I really don't like to speculate on, because like I can't reasonably speculate on it. You click the little slider at the top of the screen.
The multiverse is at my disposal.
I'm gonna use this Nicol Bolas as a gain 4 here. I'm just gonna put him into play and block. Yeah, but like I can't know that that was the last card in their hand, Mithu. Like, Obviously, if I'm Psychic, it's really the right line, but, like, I'm not Psychic. And if I was, playing Magic the Gathering would be a wrong way to abuse being Psychic. Alright, Poppy needs a Ritual of Soot, just like that one. I'm just gonna play this one off the top to let him know that I already had it. Just never didn't have it.
I always have an answer.
I always have an answer. What an apt thing to say, Nikki B. Are we done here? Why are we still playing Magic? Thanks, Magic Avocado. That was the best draw in their deck. Okay, so we're not done here yet. Do I want to get backup Nick here? I almost want to get backup Nick, right? No, I don't want to leave him dead to a lightning strike. Let's just draw 2 cards.
My genius is unmatched.
We actually have a game here. They could definitely draw enough burn to potentially kill us. Yep. I don't care about this because I'm going to Ritual of Soot. I did click on the right Planeswalker, but that was a bit of a struggle the other day.
I know what must be done.
Ugh, thud. Plague Wind is a heck of a Magic card. You're not wrong. That one doesn't kill me. It resolves. Doesn't kill me. Doesn't block Doom Whisperer. All right, extra Moment of Craving. Sign me up. Fungal Infection sounds great. Direfleet Poisoner isn't particularly good here, right? Eldest Reborn seems a little bit clunky, although I'm not sure I can, honestly, I'm not sure I can cut this card because I'm kind of just a little bit threat light in this deck, which kind of makes me want that. I think there's probably a sweet, like, Thought Scour Delve Threat deck in Modern that wants to lean into Ritual of Soot. Yeah, Ritual is very good. I was like, what is going on? I heard some sounds coming from upstairs. Wallace and Gromit was still playing on the TV from the kids this morning. I don't know that Duress is good enough. I think I'd rather leave Syncopate or Negate in. Honestly, it could be that I just like can't afford this many Notion Rains in a matchup like this. The nice thing about Syncopate is that on my turn 2 on the draw, I can Syncopate both Tajik and History of Benalia, which is convenient. Is 27 lands a liability for you in this deck? You mean like in terms of flooding? So the way I like to think about lands in a deck like this is, if you'll notice, I'm playing 2 copies of Memorial to Folly. And basically what that means is I have 25 just regular lands, and then I have 2 spell lands. So think of it as I'm playing 25 lands and then 2 lands that are 2 spells that are sometimes lands when I need them to be. And if I was worried about flooding or felt like I had potentially too many lands in this deck, I would definitely add more utility lands before cutting lands altogether. What's the cost of getting a competitive standard deck on Arena? So the way the wild came mulligan to 4. The way the wild card system works, basically the cost of decks on Arena is dictated by the number of rares and mythics that the deck contains. So mono blue tempo or mono red, for instance, can be built for absurdly cheap. These 3-color decks that have a lot of rares and mythics in them, they tend to be somewhere in the $100 to $150 range, depending on what you open and exactly how many rares are in the deck that you're picking. I'm gonna bin that. I've already got 4 lands. I need a way to kill this, right? Or like block it. Now, I don't think Anagrath is particularly good. I think I'd much rather just like play more cards that like kill them proactively. I think if I was looking for another threat in this deck, I would start by getting the fourth demon into here. Nice, Jake. Yeah, as far as free to play is concerned, I don't really have a good baseline for that because I don't free to play any games. This is my job, and I don't enjoy playing limited, so I basically just like pour dollars in to get all of the cards that I want. Thanks, Hurly Burly. Children think I'm funny, mostly because I can cross my eyes and wiggle my nose, but, you know, I am funny looking as well, so I've got that going for me. What's the most efficient way to get a ton of arena cards? Your credit card. The most powerful card in arena is your credit card, and it will unlock all the rest of the cards. Cousin Vin, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Triple tapped land. I, however, am on the play and have a Moment of Craving, so I'm going to keep this. Do you deduct the expenses of this game? I do. So the way Twitch works, I get 1099 if people are familiar with that. In the United States, how that tax works. So I get to write off things that are the cost of making this money against the money that I make. Do I do my own taxes? I am not doing my own taxes this year. I just want to make sure that I cross all the I's, dot all the I's, and cross all the T's, as they say. Previously, as someone who traveled to play a ton of Magic for many years, my Magic money made to expenses was almost always a wash in previous years, but this year Twitch has like actually made enough money to be a job for me. That's why I'm able to do it full time. So, want to make sure everything gets done right so I don't get it messed up. I've done my own taxes in the past most years. So if your taxes aren't particularly complicated, like the software tends to make it pretty easy. Are you talking about the local store, Collectible Corner here in Bloomington? I don't really play much paper Magic these days. Do you feel like this game could incorporate a way to buy singles apart from wild cards? I mean, they could do anything. Will they do that? Almost certainly not. So this is kind of an interesting sequencing turn. So part of me wants to play the Thought Erasure before I start sticking my threats. That being said, I have 2 threats in my hand, and it's far more resource efficient this turn for me to play the Doom Whisperer out. It's very likely that they have multiple answers in their hand, like 2+ answers. So I think even if I Thought Erasure, my opponent's still going to have an answer to the play that I make. So I think I'd rather hedge on being resource efficient this turn and just jam this Doom Whisperer down their throat. And then next turn, if they only have 2 answers, I can Thought Erasure plus Nicol Bolas and be resource efficient on both of these turns. Cast Vampiric Tutor. Eldest Reborn is a pretty punishing card for us though here. Okay, take one of those. So this is gonna X for 1S very cleanly here. So this is my opinion on Arena's economy. I actually think Arena's economy is more than reasonable in terms of what you get for the amount of money that you're spending. However, I think knowing what you get for what you're spending is very convoluted. The system doesn't feel honest to me. It doesn't feel like, as a consumer, it's easy to understand what you're getting for the money you're putting in, and I think that's a problem. You can buy wild cards straight up. And that's the thing. People don't think they can buy wild cards. Buying booster packs is buying wild cards. You get wild cards for booster packs. That's the biggest issue. Like, and that was, as someone who was very critical of their economy before I had engaged with it, now that I've engaged with the economy, I don't actually think it's that bad. But when I hadn't engaged with it and I didn't really understand it, it felt awkward and bad to me. I think it's probably best to max out buying one of the sets that has dual lands in it first to give yourself the best possible chance of opening playsets of the shock lands. Hey, Stever, thank you for the brand new Prime support there. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here this month with that. That's rough. All right, so I'm gonna discard this extra Nikki B. Moment of Craving is actually kind of a sweet draw here. Oh, I guess it's not. I'm dumb. I should have... They're just going to flip this Nicol Bolas and kill me. I think I'm going to be done with this deck after this match. We played this deck last time, and I thought I wanted it to play it a little bit more. And I'm glad we played it some more. But after playing this deck more, I definitely think I've fallen into not really liking this deck. This deck, I think, feels worse than both the blue-black operative deck that we've played that's more mid-range, it doesn't splash Nick. And I think it also feels worse, excuse me, than the what's it called deck, the Grixis Dragons deck we played the other night. The Grixis Dragons deck was really awesome. It was quite fantastic. Yeah, just like the turn 4 Niv Mizzets were just like pure gasoline. I don't think I have room for Duress here. I need to make sure I leave in enough ways to kill their Nicks and stuff like that. We're actually going to play a blue-black, more aggressively slanted Surveil deck today later on. After this match, we're going to shift to playing some black-green mid-range, and then the last deck we're going to play today is a blue-black Surveil deck. Now, I think Syncopate's important. They have a lot of creature threats, not only Nicol Bolas, but they're probably bringing in Thief of Sanities as well post-board. No, I think the cast downs are important for killing Thief of Sanity. You just like can't let that card hang out. Yep, that one right there. That Thief of Sanity right there. So this would let my Dragonskull Summits come into play untapped, but like I already have 5 lands, so I think I'm just gonna let these come into play untapped. Do you have a rough idea of what I want to play at SCGCon, or is it still too early? I think I'm pretty confident I'm gonna play Elves in Modern at SCGCon. That archetype has really been consistently powerful for me and grown on me. I think they should give you codes in real life packs. Yes, I do. I think if Wizards of the Coast is smart, they will strongly incentivize you to make your arena purchases cross over into paper and vice versa. You should want your products to complement each other. Yeah, Thief of Sanity. Think of Thief of Sanity as a Howling Mine that kills them. It's like Dark Confidant, basically. It draws 2 cards a turn, and it's evasive. Yeah, I feel like we're dead here. I'm just gonna move along. Green-Black Elves. You can find my preferred Elves deck list on my website. You can also find a full primer on Elves talking about all the card choices in it, sideboarding tips, and even cards that I'm not playing on Cool Stuff Inc. in my article on Wednesday. What's going on, Johan? Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, so I think this will probably be the last time I play this one. I feel like while this deck is doing some powerful things, the cohesiveness of what it's doing and the ultimate power level as a whole felt worse than both the blue-black operative deck, blue-black control deck that we've played with 4 for operatives in it. And it also felt worse than the Grixis Dragons deck we played the other day. And if you weren't here when we played either of those decks, you can check those out both on my website, jeffhoagland.com, and my YouTube channel. The next deck we're going to move on to today is going to be a Golgar.